seeing a team that really enjoys being coached, and that right there is beautiful. As a coach, you want a team that no matter what's being taught, what's being said, that you have guys.
I can't wait because I feel like this group has so much potential. We're so young that we're not anywhere near our ceiling yet. I think we have the potential to be
all the pieces we need, and just to see how it all meshes together and how far we can actually take this thing will be interesting.
They're extremely good. They're getting down the system really well. And it's going to be difficult for other teams trying to guard them as well. They're just a boatload of talent, boatload of athleticism, and just they know the game very well for freshmen.
And good afternoon. This afternoon live, Dennis Fithian with you here in that audio right there, courtesy of MGO Blue TV. You probably recognize most of those voices there, but if you didn't, Juwan Howard, the head coach at Michigan, talking about his team there. Hunter Dickinson is ready to start the season. Eli Brooks talking about the super senior, the professor, talking about the upcoming year as well. And Brandon Johns Jr. talking about that heralded freshman class, the very highly touted freshman class that's coming in. Not 2, 3, 4, 6 of them, half dozen of them coming in on scholarship, and we will get the public will get their first view of them coming up on Friday. Excuse me, in the exhibition opener down at Wayne State, and then it will be a week from today that basketball will be opening at Chrysler as Michigan brings in Buffalo. There we go, Buffalo. Coming in. Coming up on the show, we'll talk with a former Michigan basketball player who's expected to join us here momentarily. So we're looking forward to that, get his opinions on this upcoming team and what he has seen. Also, our regular staples every day. Been doing this just for a couple of days, but I put in 2 features. One is the Michigan Recruiting Spotlight, and today we'll have a basketball theme. The previous 2 days, I talked football. And also I have the Memorabilia Minute. You can see around here at the Peach Mountain studio, I've got a lot of the artifacts, items, memorabilia, and I point one out and talk about it for a minute. As always, if you are watching this live, if you're watching the recording, I try to get here around 1 o'clock today, 1:30, and bring you the flavor and sounds of the day and talk about what's going on with Michigan. And then if you're out there watching it live, you can always comment in. I'll put those comments up on the screen. If you are part of the TMBR rival site, I checked the posting board during the show for any questions or comments, and I would address them there. So you can leave those on the posting board. You can always get at me on Twitter as well. My DMs are open. What's that mean? For people that are like my age or older, it's like, what's that mean? There's a little envelope up at the top of my Twitter page at Dennis Fithian, and you can just hit that and send me a direct message, and I'll get your feedback that way, and I look forward to it. Now, if you're somebody who wants to know all about Michigan and what's going on inside with the Maize and Blue, you have a great offer right now that I can tell you about, and that is a 30-day free trial to the Maize and Blue review. Go to michigan.rivals.com, and they'll ask you for a promo code. You put in GoBlue30, and you get a free 30. You get to see what everybody is saying, the movers and shakers, and getting a real feel for Michigan. And you got 30 free days to do that. If you're like, man, I got to have more of this, well, then you sign up, which I encourage you to do, and away you go. The best Michigan coverage around. That is michigan.rivals.com. And that is expiring at the end of the week. So if, you've heard me talking about that for a couple days and you're wondering about it, you want to get involved with that. Taking a look at the schedule, I mentioned that exhibition opener. That is coming your way on Friday. Michigan will be on the road, and they will be down in Detroit at Wayne State. Wayne State has a new facility, And Michigan said that they were going to open it up, and they will do that with an exhibition game coming up this Friday, and then a week from today, they'll do it for real, as they'll bring in Buffalo at the Chrysler Center, and the college basketball season around here will be officially underway. Well, right now, let's bring in, speaking of basketball, a former Michigan basketball player, and that is Anthony Wright, who joins us here on this afternoon live. It's great to see him here. Anthony, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. And you?
Oh, man. Well, you know what? I could have done with a football win this past week, but I'm trying to get past that. That's part of why I'm bringing you on and get fired up, about the upcoming season. And, most everybody knows, Anthony, that, you're a former player and, now a sports analyst whose brand is growing by the day, and a father who on social media, once in a while you'll throw out a cool picture of your kid. And so it kind of keeps everything going, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's mad that he can't come over here right now and kick it with me, but it's all good.
Well, if you want to bring him on, you can. I'm good like that. So, if he wants to come on and get his first exposure of the TMBR, I'm good with that. I understand. Well, I just laid everything out.
He take my headphones and he'll he's way too much of a monster, man.
Well, you know what? Was it 2 years old?
Almost. He is 22 months right now.
Well, you get those terrible twos coming up. That's what everybody says. So you got something
up.
to look forward to there.
Coming up. Yeah, we've been there for a minute.
Yeah, well, I'm speaking of looking forward to the start of the season here. And
Right.
And I've been around for a while. I don't remember the anticipation, and there's certainly I don't remember there being any more enthusiasm for Michigan basketball. You're pretty close to the situation. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I mean it's an exciting time. There's not really one team this year who you think is a runaway for the national championship. Gonzaga is going to be good. Texas will be good. Kansas will be good. Purdue will be very, very good. But there's not that team that I believe is super overwhelming. Bunch of transfers. So the college landscape is going to look very different this year. You're going to be watching a random game and you're going to be like, wait, what? He was just playing at this school doing a great job. So the landscape's changing, and I can't wait to get this thing going and hopping off next week.
The thing is, when Juwan Howard took over 2 years ago, this will be his third year. Michigan, there was no postseason, and we were just seeing what he was going to be all about. I wasn't 100% sure, that he was going to be this fantastic coach that I can now say that he is. But what happened last year, and, to go back, if we were sitting here and talking about Michigan going into the season, there weren't a lot of people talking about Michigan being one of the top 2, 3, 4, even in the conference. So it was a surprise at what they were able to do. No surprises now after they get that close to going to the Final Four, and the way really everything's going. It is such everything is so buttoned up and looks so good here for the Maize and Blue. It's like if you're a Michigan basketball fan, again, ecstatic. Head coach, staff, the players, the recruiting, everything is ready to roll here. I wanted to ask you, you just mentioned some of those teams here. It's also, you get in, Purdue is expected to be right there with Michigan at the top of the Big Ten, but Illinois, the way they've been barking, and you're like kind of at the front of that, inflaming the Illini fans, but you've got that game to look forward to. You got Maryland, of course, Michigan State, man, this thing, you start looking at the schedule, and there's a late game in Vegas. There's North Carolina. I mean, this thing, we're ready to roll.
It should be a lot of fun. And one thing with Juwan, like from year 1 to year 2, I mean, he's grown so much. Just like the small nuances in the game, whether it is execution out of timeouts, whether it's like baseline out of bounds plays, being able to do the right things, being able to execute just out of timeouts, like his out of timeout play was night and day from year 1 to year 2. I think that was one of my biggest concerns after year 1 was like, they have to be more crisp. coming out of timeouts. They have to be able to, win games when they're not shooting well. And year 2, I just think that Juwan himself, he got so much better. And I don't think people talk about that enough, is how much he got better, how much he was able to understand what his weaknesses were, him being able to study the game. Getting a great recruiting class is one thing, but, being, having some humility, being able to understand that, this is a different college game than when he played, and he's done a really good job at adjusting. And coaches that can adjust will remain successful for sure.
I'll tell you what, when you start talking about execution out of a timeout, I go back to last year, and I remember not right in the aftermath, but in the aftermath of that Big Ten tournament game against Ohio State, where they had a timeout in their pocket, and they tried to get the ball to Hunter Dickinson, and it didn't work with the exchange. And, Mike Smith had to end up, doing a step back and trying to shoot it over Liddell for the game winner. And I know you diagrammed that up and talked about the play and everything. I didn't like not calling a timeout. I didn't like them, the play. I didn't like any of it. But what I liked was afterwards, Juwan Howard was like, yeah, we got what we wanted. I don't think he really did. But you know what? He wasn't about to say, yeah, you know what? Hunter didn't run this right. We didn't get this going well. And he had a lot of trust in the players. I thought a lot of that was, a head coach, just taking a step back, knowing that people were going to come after him and him saying, you know what? Yeah, we got what we wanted. But, I think after the fact, we know that that's not really what they wanted. But I was impressed by that.
Yeah, so that play specifically, I remember I believe Eli Brooks was at the elbow, and he was supposed to set a down screen for Hunter. The down screen for Hunter would have opened up the ball screen with Hunter and Mike Smith. There would have been no hedge because Eli Brooks would have hit the hedge guy down on the block. What happened? There was a missed timing, and then from that point, I believe Mike Smith kind of just did his own thing. But end of the day, it was a step back with a 40% shooter. Pretty much, if it goes in, everyone's happy. If it doesn't, everyone's mad. So, you got a good shot with the high percentage shooter, and you don't make every single one.
You mentioned Mike Smith, and you got Shawnee Brown, Austin Davis, Isaiah Livers, Franz Wagner. Those are the 5 guys that aren't on the team anymore. But you got a lot of guys coming in here. You've got so they lose 5, but they've got the 6 scholarship freshmen. Plus, they bring in Devontae Jones as a transfer, grad transfer out of Coastal Carolina, where he was the player of the year in the Sun Belt. Who do you think out of all of that is going to be the most difficult to replace out of all those guys I just mentioned?
Franz for sure. Franz erased so many defensive issues last year because he was just so long. He's 6'9", 6'10", 7'4" wingspan. He just did things that you just can't teach, and he did things that you can't teach having a big wingspan. You can't teach being able to guard the 1 through 5. I think losing him on both ends, him being able to his pick and roll and his chemistry game with Hunter Dickinson was very, very good. Was very, very good. But losing him on both ends, I believe, is going to hurt more than anything else.
I think it's a good point. I thought you were going to go to Mike Smith, the point guard, but they do have options. It's not Eli, it's Devontae, and we don't know about Devontae. And if it's not him, it's Zeb. And maybe they could go to a true freshman. So they do have a lot of options there. Well, I wonder, have you heard anything about Musa Diabate, the 6'11", wiry 5-star that's coming in? I think defensively, just watching some of his video, it might have been your videos that you were putting up on YouTube. He looks like, at least offensively, he might be able to add something pretty quickly.
Yeah, so first of all, Devontae Jones is the guy. He should be number 4 best guard in the conference. I would anticipate, honestly, he could do everything. Like you're talking about, he's about 6 feet, 6'1", 6'6" wingspan. He's very, very good. Musa Diabate, I mean, he's playing behind a consensus All-American, and he's playing behind a senior who has won championships here in Brandon Johns. But if Musa is able to stretch the floor a bit, him defensively is going to be very good, similar to what Franz was physically. We'll see between the ears, but his length and his ability to play defense at a very high level is going to be a huge positive for him, and it's going to help that freshman learning curve.
I loved your comparison, Devontae Jones. You put Fred VanVleet from the Raptors, and when I went back and watched the video, I saw that the one aspect of Jones, and he's a really good free throw shooter. He shoots close to 37% from downtown. One thing that it jumped out to me, it looked like he had some pretty good length, and he looked like he was pretty good anticipating like some steals. He had some long. He almost looked like I don't think he's Allen Iverson, but Iverson was always jumping in the passing lanes or getting his hands. He reminded me a little bit of Iverson, just on the steals and the long arms. I don't know. I'm waiting to see if I see that on Friday, and of course a week from today when they open up against Buffalo.
Well, Devontae Jones registered one of the faster times at the G League Combine. That's 1. 2, he has he's a +6 on the index, so he has very long arms. He's over 200 pounds as well too, so he can't get bumped off the ball. He was 3rd in steals nationally last year, so he just hawks the ball wherever it's at. He just shows up. I had Hunter Dickinson on my show, and that was one of the first things he said about open runs this past summer is, Devontae Jones probably has 100 steals in summer just, playing pickup because he just shows up everywhere. And it's to the point now where guys do double takes to make sure that he's nowhere around them. Well,
when you talk to Hunter, what else did he say? The thing to me, Hunter Dickinson last year is that, he could have started a little bit earlier, but he didn't start any of those non-conference games. It wasn't until Game 6 that he actually got in there, and it was because of Big Country, injuring his foot there. I think Austin Davis said he finally did get the nod and get into the starting lineup. But what a monster, what a factor, and anything else? Did he point? Did he give you any other tips about how some of the younger guys are coming along? Because I'm expecting. I was doing a little rotation before you joined us here, just scratching down who I think will ultimately be out there on the floor, and I think Caleb Houston, like they need a shooter, and if that's Isaiah Livers, that he doesn't have the same type of game, but he can really fill it up from outside. And I don't know, do you think he's ready to go? Did Hunter say anything about Houston or any of the other guys in those pickups?
Yeah, I mean, nothing but positive things for all the freshmen for sure. When it comes to Caleb, I'm interested to see which Caleb comes out. Caleb, I've watched his games at Montverde, and I've watched his games with FIBA playing with Team Canada. And he plays a little bit different for each team. For Montverde, he played a lot more in a role similar to like Isaiah Livers, where he was playing off of guys, not being the creator. But then on FIBA, he was playing a lot more like Franz, where he'll shoot the open shot, but he was more likely to create off the dribble, create some offense. So I'm interested to see like which Caleb shows up. But either way, Caleb is going to play a lot. He's 6'8", can shoot it. He reminds me of like a Shane Battier type. Very, very good. Expect Kobe Buffkin to play a good amount. I was in an argument with my guy G. He said 25 minutes, and I said 18 to 20. So that's where our argument is. And 18 to 20 is roughly what Shondi played. Shondi Brown played around 19 minutes a game. If Zeb played that much, I won't be surprised.
Well, I can't wait to see Kobe Buffkin. I know he's a lefty.
Not Zeb. I'm sorry.
I think
Kobe,
everybody knew. I think everybody knew what you said, and I think they're both lefties, aren't they? So maybe that's what. Maybe
They are both lefties, and they're like both the same size, both same skin complexion. I'm tripping. I just had a pool workout. I'm grainy. My bad.
I was pretty excited. I've seen it a couple times, and I heard about the athletic ability of Buffkin. I did see the highlight from the Midnight Madness where, he can throw it down. I'm excited to see him.
Everybody can. It's Division I basketball. Everybody can throw it down. Everybody can throw it down.
Well, you know what? To that point, I was watching some Doug McDaniel, one of the recruits coming in, the kid out of Virginia who's just 5'11". He can throw it down.
Yeah. If people were like Xavier Simpson can't dunk, I'm like Xavier Simpson can do a windmill. Like, what are you talking about? Eli Brooks can't dunk. I'm like, are you crazy? Are you nuts? And then like you see him in the game just like cock it back in midair to avoid a block, just flushes it. Like, these dudes are incredibly athletic, all of them.
It's Ant Wright. It's at Ant Wright with a W for the right on Twitter. You can see his full cachet of media availability and the things that he's doing there. It's quite a cachet. So you can check that out on Twitter.
I'm gonna be on Cameo soon too. I'm gonna be on Cameo soon.
What's a Cameo?
Cameo is, I don't know. It's like this thing where like people can say, "Hey, we want you to say something," or "We want you to say something for our brand or our website," and they pay you X amount of dollars, and I'll say what they want me to say, and done deal.
Hey, well, you know what? I like it, and I like your logo and your branding. You do a great job. You're working hard at it. I got a couple more questions for you. I don't know how much time you got, man. It seems like I sit around talking with you all day. All right, Hunter Dickinson, he looks like he's in a lot better shape. He was fabulous as a freshman. In fact, he was great. Second team All-American. I mean, everything. What are you expecting from him here? Are you going to start him out a little further out, let him cast up some threes, a higher pick and roll, seeing if he can face up the basket? I mean, there's a lot of different things. I mean, he's pretty dominant. Get him down on the left block and let him go to work. Just how much more are you expecting here from Hunter?
He did that in high school quite a bit. There were a couple games last year where he didn't roll all the way, where he had little 17-foot jumpers, and they look pretty good. So don't be surprised if he shoots more threes this year. I believe Michigan basketball put up a clip of him shooting a bunch of threes from this past summer. And I think they were trolling because he didn't make not one. He was throwing it off the backboard, airballing them. I think they were trolling.
The video I saw, he was knocked down like 5-6 in a row.
Oh, no. This was another one. But word on the street is that he did hit a couple threes against DePaul in their secret scrimmage. So that's pretty interesting. So I won't be surprised if he takes one or two per game, similar to like kind of what Teskey did. He's not going to live out there. But for sure, if they swing the ball, he's open, and the guy drops off, I fully expect him to let it fly.
Hey, and if he starts making them, you can shoot more. Right,
exactly.
You start, you get off on a 0-7, 0-8 clip or something, then, maybe you can have to reduce the amount of.
Fall in love with it because he's a beast on the block too. But just making them respect him out there is just going to open up the game for everybody else, including Musa, because now if Hunter can hit a shot, now Musa, he doesn't have that pressure to be able to stretch the floor now that Hunter can. So they can play at the same time.
Let me throw a starting five at you, and you tell me what you think of the rotation. You already mentioned Buffkin coming in, which was one of the things that I'm interested in, because I think when you just look at the backcourt, you got Eli Brooks and Devontae Jones, and then whoever it's going to be, whether it's going to be Zeb or Frankie, coming in and being that third guy, we'll see. But up front, Hunter Dickinson, Brandon Johns, and I think Caleb Houston. I mean, does that sound like the five to you that they'll ultimately go with here?
Yeah, Devontae, Eli, Caleb, Brandon, and Hunter. Yeah, that's
all right. And Terrence Williams, he got a lot of burn last year and showed some flashes in different games. I would imagine he would be in the mix at forward as met well. You mentioned Lofkin. What about Jace or Diabate? You see those guys getting a little taste here. What do you hear?
With Jace, it's going to be hard to crack the rotation. With Diabate, I mean, you're looking at, he's, you got to expect Hunter to play between 25 and 30 minutes. Usually bigs don't play really past 30 consistently. So you got to see, okay, there's 15 there possibly. And then when Brandon is out, you can always slide Caleb down to the 4. You can have T. Will at the 4 too. T. Will, he's one of the smarter players. And you can see that Coach trusts him too. T. Will had come out and said that Juwan is putting him in multiple different positions. When a coach tries to put someone in multiple different positions, that means that they're trying to find them more minutes. So I think last year he played 7 to 8 minutes per game. I could fully expect him to play between 11 and 15 this year, if not more. And then Kobe, I'm hearing that the coaches love Kobe, love Kobe. Hearing Zeb has been out sick, so if Kobe is taking full advantage of that opportunity, I fully expect him and Frankie to be the backups in the backcourt.
Yeah, I can't wait to see just how the guards develop. I wanted to ask you a quick one, just overall. Mike Smith, I don't know if he was 5'10", maybe he was 5'10", but
he was 5'9".
Very effective last year for Michigan. You mentioned Devontae Jones, 6 feet, 6'1", wherever he's at. But if you just look ahead, Doug McDaniel, who I mentioned, the kid out of Virginia, the commit for next year, he's listed at 5'11", and then they got a kid for, 4 years down the road from Atlanta. Congratulations to the Braves, by the way. But Christian Anderson, he's listed at 5'8". Now, maybe he'll grow up to be, 6'5". I don't know. But any concern at all with Juwan and the staff, going for the more for point guards like, 6 feet or under?
Well, those are the guards who compete for national championships. I believe since 2002 or 2003, the starting point guard has always been 6'2" or under. So, I mean, that's little fact.
Facts.
That's fact. So, I don't mind it. Doug McDaniel, Nasir, he's similar to he is a chihuahua. He is a go-getter, extremely athletic. He plays in the WCAC for basketball and football. So he's super, super tough. If you don't know the WCAC, that is the same conference where Chase Young played in at DeMatha from Ohio State. It is a tough conference, one of the toughest or the toughest athletic conference, in my opinion, in the country. So he's going to be tough. Christian Anderson, his dad is 6'6". That's all I got. So I think they're going to hope that he grows a bit. You can see his arm. He's pretty lanky, and you can see his body types. That you're like, okay, I can see him growing a bit. But right now, he is probably the top shooter in his class. But he is 5'8". Tom Izzo, he offered Foster Lawyer, and he got a commitment early from him, thinking that he would be about 6'2", 6'3", but he stopped growing at 5'10". Foster Lawyer's younger brother, Fletcher, is 6'5", 6'6", headed to Purdue. So they were hoping that Foster was going to get that type of height. But you just got to wait and see what happens and kind of just go from there. The whole guard thing, though, yeah, I'm not too worried about that whatsoever.
Yeah, I think if you watch 5 minutes of the highlight package of Doug McDaniel, there's not a lot. He's going up, he's throwing it down, and admittedly,
he is a dog.
Admittedly, I was watching his video during the NBA playoffs last year where Trae Young was doing it, but he had some flash. I mean, it was like a little shorter Trae Young doing. He was bouncing around. Looked like a really good passer, dunking it. I was really impressed. Well, Ant, just how far? what are your expectations here for Michigan? Like Big Ten championship, Final Four, national championship? Are those crazy things when you hear me say that?
It's never crazy, but I don't like talking Final Four or national championship until I see a bracket, because you can have a really freaking good team, but then you see 2 or 3 teams that are terrible matchups for you. Even though you're better, the matchup really makes it a lot more even than it actually should be. But when it comes to Big Ten, can they win the Big Ten? Yes, but it's going to be tougher this year than last year. Purdue and Ohio State, they're going to have an easier schedule. I see 7 teams contending: Maryland, Michigan State, Indiana, Purdue, Michigan, Ohio State, and Illinois. Of those 7, Purdue and Ohio State plays only 3 of them twice. Michigan plays, of the 7, 4 of those teams twice. So those 2 games, those extra games that they have to play a very good team, someone else gets to play Minnesota, or they get to play a Wisconsin at home, right? So that is a big thing when, like, you're trying to win an outright, and that one game, one team has to go to Illinois and win. Another team has to win against Minnesota at home. Minnesota may win overall maybe 10 games this year. Maybe 10 games. That stuff matters. That stuff matters big time. So
yeah, well, I don't know how Carolina or Seton Hall are going to be. Sorry, but the non-conference, we'll find out a little bit about them. But great points about the round robin, who they're playing twice, and everything else. It's loaded, and man, you're telling me I would love some tickets to watch Michigan play Maryland this year, or Illinois, or Purdue, or Michigan State, or Ohio State. I mean, right down the line, and that's just where it's at right now. It is exciting, and Michigan might be a dog in some of those games.
Shut up.
You don't know. They might be a dog, but they'll probably be a favorite in a lot of those. I guess it'll be where they're playing. All right, Ant. Hey, we appreciate your time. Any player that's out there right now, like some 5-star that's just sitting out there that people aren't talking about, you think Juwan might and the staff might pull in here over the next month or two?
Might pull in? I have no clue. But if you do get tickets to games, make sure you go on SeatGeek, Ant Wright promo code. You get $20 off. But any 5 stars. There is a dude from Chicago. His name is JJ. He goes to Donda Academy. He's a top 10 recruit from 2023. There's another top 15 recruit named Matas Puzilis. It's about 6'10", 6'10" guard forward who's pretty good. I expect Juwan to continue to go after the big time talent, especially the ones in the Midwest, and the ones who can help right away. Because after this year, Michigan is going to be very, very, very young. A lot of guys are going to be moving on. Hunter, this may be his last year. Brandon might be gone. He does have another year left. Johns does, but he might be gone though. Eli Brooks will be gone. Devontae Jones might be gone. He does have another year. Caleb Houston may be a one and done. So you're going to be left with a lot of super young players where Terrence Williams is going to be your veteran as a redshirt sophomore type of deal. So fully expect the transfer portal to be heavy this coming summer though. But they're going to be super young next year, and it should be interesting.
Well, the way they struck gold with Shondy and Mike Smith, and potentially, and what based on what you're saying, and what the hope is here with Devontae Jones, that transfer portal has been kind to the Mason Blues so far. You've been kind with all your time as well, Ant. We appreciate it. I'm impressed always. Social media and everything else. You're following your discourse and everything that you're doing. Thanks so much for your time. I look forward to talking with you again, and enjoy the college basketball season. Thanks for joining us.
For sure. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right, you too. There he is, Anthony Wright, the former Wolverine, joining us here on this afternoon live, taking it from baseline to baseline, talking about this team. And you know what? That should, if you're a Michigan basketball fan, fire up a little bit as you get ready for the exhibition game coming up on Friday. By the way, 10 minutes after every game concludes from the Wolverines, I am going to hit this button right here. It says go live, and I'm going to go live. And that's going to start coming up this Friday after the Wayne State game. When the clock goes 000, 10 minutes on, give me time to sit down, click the button, and we'll be off and running, talking about the Wolverines on the hardwood. And I can't wait. Yeah, I'm going to pay the 6 clams for the exhibition stream. I'm in. They got me. By the way, if you're just joining in, you can join in and on the exciting deal here for the Maize and Blue Review, TMBR. And this is heading into its last week. You get a 30-day trial to check everything out and say, hey, what are these guys bringing to the table? What do they know? What are they talking with recruiting? Everything that's going on here? The staff is working hard, and we want to bring you in for 30 days so you can check it out and see everything that's going on, and then decide, you know what? Yeah, I want this all the time. You go to michigan.rivals.com, michigan.rivals.com. They got a promo code there. You put in Go Blue 30, and you're rocking and rolling. I don't know, whatever. That seems like something somebody over 50 would say. Yeah, then you're rocking and rolling. Well, you are. You got it going. Those are just the facts there. All right, 2 things to go here, maybe 3, with a word on football and the college football rankings in Michigan, where they sit at 7 and that coming out. I got to give you a thought on that. But 2 things, the Michigan recruiting spotlight, and then the memorabilia minute. When it comes to the recruiting spotlight here with basketball coming up for in the 2022 class, Michigan right now is sitting ranked at number 7. You know, this incoming class that we were just talking about with Ant Wright is ranked in the top 3 at Rivals. It was number 1 for a while, and then, Memphis got Bates, and but, Michigan's sitting right there at number 3. Nobody else has more 5 stars. So there's a lot that have as many 2. But a highly touted freshman class coming in for Juwan Howard. And next year's class, they got 4 stars, and that's sitting there at number 7. You got Jet Howard, who's ranked 35. Terrace Reed is ranked 45th. This is Rivals top 150. Doug McDaniel, who we did talk about, and I said, a little similarity to Trey Young when I watched his video. He's sitting there ranked number 71. And GG, Greg Glenn, he's got a lot of G's. He's got 3 in his first name and 4G. 4G is ranked 77th, the 6'7" forward from Pompano, Florida, who committed, back, what's that, October 5th? Yeah. All right, so that's where Michigan's sitting with their 4 stars in the Michigan recruiting spotlight. Yeah, I hope to get better and more in depth on those recruiting spotlights. The memorabilia minute, might as well go to basketball. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you see this maize in blue and then the hardwood, that is one of my most valued pieces of memorabilia, and that is right from back when it was, I think, Chrysler Arena. It might have made the switch to the Chrysler Center whenever. I don't know how often they replaced the floor. I mean, it's not every year. I don't think it's every 5 years, maybe every 10. But the last time they replaced the Chrysler basketball floor, a friend of mine was able to come up with a piece of the floor. And he said, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Here it is. And it has been sitting up on that picture on the studio wall ever since. And I love it. Piece of history. Who knows who ran across that floor? Maybe the Fab Five. Maybe the floor dated all the way back to the Fab Five. I don't know. That's what I say. People see it. All right, so there's the memorabilia minute. That is the Michigan recruiting spotlight. And before we go here, I've got a couple things to tell you on tomorrow's broadcast. We'll be bringing in the master of recruiting here for TMBR. That is Brandon Justice. That's going to happen. We'll talk recruiting at we're going to do a recruiting show, and he's going to come on and talk a little hoops and football. Here's Eric, jumping in, watching the YouTube. There you go, Eric. Thank you. He says, good stuff, guys. And with the S on there, he put that on there when Ant was on. I just wanted to give you a word about the college football rankings. And, they come out yesterday, and, a lot of that's for entertainment purposes. Like it's just a show. It's just to get them talking about college football and why, I would have had Alabama, but I would have had Cincinnati a little higher. What it means to me is that with college football, they do have to expand the playoff. You got to give the element of the Cinderella story of the group of five, even though Cincinnati, I know, is leaving the group of five to go into the Power Five of the Big 12. I guess if we still consider the Big 12 to be in the Power Five with losing Oklahoma and Texas, I guess they are. But part of the NCAA tournament is the Cinderella story, and seeing Cincinnati. And I know they played Georgia last year, but getting them with a real chance in there. Let's see it. And you know what? More big games, what we've seen here, I complain myself and have over the years, like, you better watch it with college football. It's a great formula. You screw with it too much. You could water it down. It can be too much like the NFL. But even in the NFL, they've added an extra playoff game. And I complained, you know what? I'm not going to mind. And I've seen it all the way through. I don't mind extra playoff games. And there's still enough in football where with the regular season, to get more postseason games in there. So I hope they do go to 8 to 12. I'm not pounding the table here for Cincinnati, but when you rank number 2 all year long, it doesn't feel right. When they come out, hey, here they are. So, they beat Notre Dame and they played Indiana. Indiana was expected to be good, this year. I know they're 0-5 in the Big Ten. This year, or looking at least against Iowa, Penn State, Michigan State, against all the Ohio. I guess I mentioned Ohio State, Penn State. Yeah, all the big time teams that they did play, including Cincinnati. They lost, but Cincinnati. If you're going to have a poll, and we're going to look at that, I mean, how do you look at a poll where they're ranked number 2, and then you come out of the college football playoff and they're way on the outside? They got to expand it. That's it. All right. Speaking of that's it, that is it right here. Oh, no. Let's hear all that audio that we put in today. This is all from, while we're on the basketball subject, this is all from Go Blue TV. Here's Juwan Howard on what he's seen so far from his team.
I'm seeing a team that really enjoys being coached. And that right there is beautiful. As a coach, you want a team that no matter what's being taught, what's being said, that you have guys that are willing and eager to learn.
Don't mind hearing that from the head coach. Here's Hunter Dickinson. Asked about getting ready for the upcoming season.
I can't wait because I feel like this group has so much potential. We're so young that we're not anywhere near our ceiling yet. I think we have the potential to be so good offensively and defensively.
All right. How about Eli Brooks?
All the pieces we need, and just to see how it all meshes together and how far we can actually take this thing will be interesting. And having fans back in Chrysler and on the road, it's going to be a fun year.
Great point. Fans back in the stadium. Hunter Dickinson doesn't know what that's like. Gonna be going after them. How they mesh together. The professor. Nice soundbite there from Eli Brooks, number 55, the senior, the super senior out of Pennsylvania. And one last one. This one comes from Brandon Johns Jr., who's a senior, but he has an extra year because of last year. He talked about those Super Six freshmen.
They're extremely good. They're getting down the system really well. And it's going to be difficult for other teams trying to guard them as well. They're just a boatload of talent, boatload of athleticism, and just they know the game very well for freshmen.
Yes, they do. I agree with that. I don't know. How do I know? I'm glad that he's saying it. We'll find out. Remember, you're a basketball fan. 10 minutes after the exhibition game on Friday, I'll be here. I'll actually on Saturday night, late night, be talking some Michigan, Indiana postgame. 10 minutes after that game. So that'll be fun. We'll talk recruiting tomorrow with Brandon Justice. Thanks for watching, and thanks to Anthony Wright. Great guest, talking some hoops here today. And we'll talk at you tomorrow on Afternoon Live. Goodbye.